Hi Cancer, welcome to your daily tarot reading. Thank you for joining me in this reading. I'm going to be using the Light Seers deck and the Lover's Oracle deck. So remember to take what resonates from the reading and to leave behind whatever you feel does not. So let's find out what messages come through with the cards. So the first card we have is the Four of Swords. With this card, you could be dealing with an air sign, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Next, we have the Wheel. And finally, we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords, you could be dealing with an air sign. So that is a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Cups. So you could be dealing with a water sign with this. So another Cancer, Pisces, or even a Scorpio. Okay, so with the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck, with this card, this is showing that perhaps you may have a lot of options when it comes to perhaps people who may be wanting to make an offer to you. And with this card, this is all about being noticed by a lot of different people who perhaps are very different. They have different things to offer. So with them having different things to offer, it may be perhaps you may need to be able to know which one would be the best fit for you and which one would make the most workable partner for you and for what you need. And with the Four of Swords, this is a card all about perhaps gaining a new perspective when it comes to yourself and what you need and what you are looking for, and also gaining more clarity. And with it showing up in the reverse, this is about perhaps having learned and acquired a lot of knowledge perhaps, and with that knowledge, this is you coming out as being more informed about yourself and what you need and what you would like and what you require in order to be able to meet your needs. So with that new perspective and understanding of perhaps where you are coming from when it comes to seeking a love connection, or even if you are in a connection already, this is about having a better or deeper understanding of yourself and what works and what you may not want to invite into your life. With that understanding, I'm getting that this decision between perhaps many options that may be presented to you becomes a little bit easier. And also I'm getting that with the Wheel of Fortune, that is a card that shows some change and you getting what you desire. So I'm seeing that perhaps being able to play a very active role in being able to perhaps stand up for your needs and what you want, and having more understanding and perhaps a better outlook as far as how to decide between many options or any options. With that Seven of Cups, I'm seeing you getting what you desire and being able to implement it, and also getting what you want overall when it comes to a connection. So the Wheel of Fortune is very fortunate energy. This is all about you getting whatever you desire, and also it is about divine timing. So with the Four of Swords in the upright position, it's all about going in to take some time to perhaps focus on self and to rejuvenate, and also to be able to spend some time perhaps in a self-care mode. This is all about perhaps being able to meditate in order to get back into a stronger, more well-balanced state. So with it showing up in the reverse, this is about coming out of that energy, so you are rejuvenated. And I'm getting that whatever you desire may be coming to you because it is now divine timing with the Wheel of Fortune, which is constantly turning, and with it turning in your favor, this is about the divine timing. So I am getting that perhaps this may be a very fortunate time as well. And with the Seven of Cups, it is many options. So with many options and many different options, it can be difficult to make a decision out of fear that perhaps you may make the wrong decision. But I'm getting that with that understanding and that new perspective that perhaps you are adopting with that Four of Swords in the reverse, and also with divine timing on your side, the decisions that you are making perhaps with that Seven of Cups are the most favorable ones. They are fortunate, and you are making perhaps even the best decision that you could make in a situation. So this is showing a sudden change also. So it could also be about entering into a period that is very favorable when it comes to a connection that is already existing, or a period in your life right now that is perhaps also highly favored, and you may be also getting to enjoy and empowered state also, and you may be also just generally getting what you desire in some way, because this is very fortunate energy. And with the Five of Swords, this card is also a card about change. So I'm also seeing some change as far as your connections. So the Five of Swords is a little bit more of it's a very serious energy. It is about a change that is almost permanent. It is about being able to perhaps take a new direction in a dynamic connection. It is about being able to take a new direction and changing the dynamic in a connection altogether. So it's also about being able to surrender. And with the Five of Swords, this is about perhaps agreeing to disagree, understanding that perhaps you may have different views on a situation, and also just accepting that and being able to surrender. And if that means moving in different paths with the Five of Swords and it being about change, that is something that can be done perhaps with a very accepting attitude as well. So this is about being able to acquire the most peaceful outcome when it comes to connections, when it comes to any disputes that you may be having with others. And that change is what ultimately leads to perhaps a more peaceful environment and a peaceful period that you can enter into. So also with this card, this is about that change happening as well. But with the Five of Swords, this is a change that happens between you and your connections. Whereas the Wheel could be in the grander scheme of things. This is you getting what you desire in general, and not just in terms of your connections. Okay, so I'm going to pull out 3 cards from the Lover's Oracle deck. So I'll pull out 1 card for the situation overall, and a card for you in this connection or in the situation, and a card for the other person that is involved. So I'm going to start with a card for you, Cancer. So this is the card that came out. It says, Embrace. Through each other you find the missing pieces. Okay, so with this card, I am getting it being a card that is linking to that Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is all about being able to perhaps surrender in a situation whereby you're not seeing eye to eye. So with this card, I am getting it being one whereby you are able to accept perhaps another person's perspective and also maintain your own, and still being able to recognize how perhaps you can still coexist even though you have different perspectives with this card. And I'm getting that Five of Swords energy, and that being perhaps some kind of a disagreement or not seeing eye to eye or not seeing things the same way as somebody else or other people is perhaps also something that's contributing to this new perspective that you are adopting with that Five of Swords in the reverse. So it could be also one that is lending itself to perhaps you being able to see things differently or to gain some clarity on the situation. And that could also be how the other person is also impacted by this Five of Swords. So I'm seeing that perhaps this new perspective is also what is leading to a huge change when it comes to the way that you approach partnerships, friendships, and love overall. And I'm getting that perhaps it is also very eye-opening. So also with the Seven of Cups, that's all about being able to see it through illusions as well, and also it's about reality versus illusions. So I'm also getting that perhaps with that Four of Swords and that being about perhaps adopting a new perspective, and also that Five of Swords and that being changes, I'm seeing it also being something that is perhaps also eye-opening to you as well as this other person in this connection. So I'm going to pull out a card for the other person in this connection. So this is the card that came out, and it says, My beloved, though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united. For love transcends space and time. Nothing is missing. So with the Wheel of Fortune, and that being a card about perhaps getting your way in a situation or getting what you desire at this time and a sudden change, this card also speaks about distance. And so if you are in a situation whereby you may be at a distance from somebody, perhaps you may also be getting the chance to perhaps come out of being at a distance and getting a chance to meet. But also this card can also be about perhaps coming out of a no contact period and also being able to perhaps reunite with another person, as far as being able to speak to them and also to get back on the same page. So with the Four of Swords, this is also a card that is about coming out of the dark when it comes to a situation. So that can also be about coming out of perhaps a period whereby there may have been no contact, or it could have felt as though there was a misunderstanding, which is also shown with that Five of Swords, where there is a little bit of a dispute or a misunderstanding. With this card, I am getting that in the midst of any kind of a conflict or any situation that perhaps may have felt intense, that even if perhaps you may feel as though things may have gone very bad, this card I'm getting, with it saying nothing is missing, there's that I'm getting the message of no harm, no foul. Okay, and finally I'm going to pull out a card for the overall message for this overall connection. So this is a card that came out, and it says emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. I'm getting that perhaps this connection may be one that's full of no judgments when it comes to perhaps how a person can act in a state of being triggered compared to who they are. And I'm getting that anything that happens in this connection with that Five of Swords, any perhaps conflict, tension, or disagreements that may have happened in the past, this person does not hold anything against you. And I'm getting that this person may be even in a state whereby they are releasing that and trying to let go of that resentment. Overall, I'm seeing a connection that is filled with a lot of understanding and also a lot of compassion. And I am seeing that there may be a lot of well-wishing that may be even a little bit unexpected in this connection, but I'm getting that the other person in this connection, or the other person who's involved, is not holding anything against you. There's a desire for you to see you do well as well. And I'm seeing a lot of understanding and a lot of well-wishing overall. So that is the message I am getting with these cards, Cancer. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you in tomorrow's reading. Bye, Cancer.